If we go into a global recession or even a depression, there will be slowing industrial demand. So the demand will shrink for a little while. But the industrial demand is also for all of the base metals, and 60% of silver's mining capacity is as a byproduct from mining these base metals. So at the same time that the economy slows down, so does silver production. And if there's monetary demand, if investors want silver, if they're scared of the dollar or scared of bonds, there's a supply shortage then. There's even less that comes to market. It's monetary demand that's going to cause the triple-digit silver that we're headed toward. Hi, everyone. Well, guess what? Dan Rubach, our producer, just dropped a whole bunch of comments on Alan, and Alan has dropped them into tabs, but he hasn't read them yet. So you're going to see a very spontaneous video this time. Both of us are going to be surprised. Yeah, Alan's going to read them to me, but he's also going to be experiencing them for the first time. So Alan, take us away.
All right, here we go. I just downloaded them and put them into tabs. And so let's go. First crack at them. First one, gold. And this comes from Kevin Brown 31 seconds ago. No, at the time it was screenshotted. Gold and silver are quote unquote outside the system savings accounts for me, and only buy on huge dips like we have seen recently. Buying gold and silver keeps me from spending money on silly and unnecessary purchases. Yes.
Yeah.
Holding physical gold and silver allows me to quickly pull in emergency needs and sell at my local coin shop and walk away with cash when needed. Not looking for it to moon and get rich off the purchases. Okay, I think I agree with everything Kevin said here.
I do too, but he could get rich. You never know how high this is going to go.
Exactly.
It is insurance, first of all, against a very, very shaky system right now.
Yeah, I love this bit. Buying gold and silver keeps me from spending money on silly and unnecessary purchases. Yes, this reminds me of the quote, gold is valuable because of the risks you don't take. So when you own gold, you just don't take a lot of risks in life that you don't need to take. And it's not, I don't just mean financially, it's other stuff as well. It just changes you, I think, for the better. So yeah. That's a good one. All right.
Yeah, I always used to carry an ounce of gold around in my pocket. And one time in Malaysia, though, it rolled out of my pocket in a cab, and the cab driver actually returned it to the hotel, and the hotel concierge got it back to me. I was just amazed. It was, yeah. So, but so I stopped carrying an ounce of gold around at that point. So.
Cool. Very cool. All right. Next one here. F2U, rewatching 6 years later, almost time. Wow. An old video here.
Huh. Awesome.
Basel III in gold, the big picture. Awesome. Still relevant. Next one. John H. All right, this is a beast here. This is on a recent video. How to buy gold for just $35. Okay, this is when we talked about InstaVault. Silver is the best place to be right now. Silver is more important in technology. It's the superior conductor of electricity used in solar panels, flat screen TVs, phones, surgical instruments, and a lot more. Silver has a crystal structure that gives it natural cooling properties. Another reason it's needed so heavily in electronics. The price of silver is being manipulated heavily by the big banks like JP Morgan, betting shorts, manipulating the price, making billions of dollars every year. Silver will outperform gold. It's criminal what they are doing, and it's going to end very soon, just like we're seeing the other crimes exposed with U.S. aid. The real estate bubble is going to pop. Not a good place to be right now. Just my 17 cents. Wow, thanks, John.
You're going to have to explain the 17 cents worth, but I think that's awesome, and I agree with absolutely everything that he said. It is manipulated. And we've been running another silver structural deficit for the last, 5 years, I believe. There's been less silver coming to market than we use up. And this is going to increase in the future. And the thing about, if we go into a global recession or even depression, if we go into a global recession or even a depression, there will be slowing industrial demand. So the demand will shrink for a little while. But the industrial demand is also for all of the base metals, and 60% of silver's mining capacity is as a byproduct from mining these base metals. So at the same time that the economy slows down, so does silver production. And if there's monetary demand, if investors want silver, if they're scared of the dollar or scared of bonds, there's a supply shortage then. There's even less that comes to market just when everybody, it's monetary demand that's going to cause the triple-digit silver that we're headed toward.
Yeah, exactly. Like what we've been seeing the last few years is purely, well, almost 100% the supply demand dynamics of silver as an industrial metal. And weirdly, as consumers, we want the price of silver to be low. As consumers, like we want cheap smartphones and cheap solar panels and cheap, medical equipment. We want all that stuff to be cheap. So we want silver to have a low price. But then as investors, we want silver to have a high price so that we have high purchasing power. So
it surprises me that companies like Apple and big solar producers like Tesla have not purchased their own silver stockpile. And that could be a big driver too, when they realize where this is going to try get it. Southwest Airlines was very successful for years because they had locked in the price of jet fuel years ahead. And so for years, they were burning jet fuel at the old price. Back when oil was $10 a barrel, they had locked in this at the lows. And it was very, very smart. And so that's one of the things that made Southwest so successful and allowed them to grow.
Yeah, well, companies might start doing that with silver. I know Russia has started to do that with silver. Other countries and companies may follow. We shall see. All right, next up here, the anti-doctor. A lot of negative sentiment here, which actually proves the low is past us. And this was on a silver video. This is even on a silver video. There is no optimism. There is nobody left to sell, and all these people will turn into buyers after they miss a lot of the move.
Interesting. That's a very insightful dynamic. That I'm going to be making there's a video that I did that isn't produced yet that will be out about gold going into its third phase. And the end of the video is all about the psychology of the market. That's the dynamic that will drive these things to the moon. It's greed and fear. And when fear takes over, fear of bonds, fear of the dollar, fear of stocks, and people start rushing into precious metals, that's when everything happens. So this is very insightful. So thank you, Anti-Doctor.
Yeah, that's a good call. There's nobody left to sell.
Right.
Awesome. Beautiful. Next up, from Paul Glenn, wrote my review. Wish rating went to 10 stars. Yeah.
Well, thank you. So he's talking about my latest book, The Great Gold and Silver Rush, that you and I worked on so hard, Alan, for 4 years. And there are several reviews on there that really have nothing to do with the book itself. So I'm trying to overwhelm those negative reviews that say, well, it's not available in Kindle. And the Kindle one came out 1 week after that negative review. So the book was introduced, a week later, the Kindle went up. And another guy that was writing about that it's too expensive, but he lived in New Zealand and it was all freight. The book wasn't expensive. So anyway, but thank you very much.
Yeah. Thanks, Paul.
Yeah.
Last up here, Premier Fantasy Football League 6924. The book is spectacular. Your work and intent to share your knowledge is priceless. Thank you, sir.
We've done our best. This is the reason for the book is to try to, when the crisis happens and when the stock market, whatever all of the tariffs lead to and the upset in the economy that is happening right now, if there is a crisis and a stock market crash, it's the small investor that ends up taking it in the shorts. They're the ones that get hurt the most. And it's all basically, if you look at the root cause, all of this is caused by our evil monetary system. If we were just using gold, and it wasn't a reserve asset to back up a national fiat currency. And if banks weren't allowed to just create credit and actually had to, if we went back to the old system of savers deposit and they get a savings rate, and then borrowers have to borrow at a higher rate, and the bank's spread is where they make their profit, instead of making it by typing brand new currency into existence, stealing the wealth from everybody by devaluing the currency through inflation of the currency supply, we wouldn't have all of these different problems. But what is going to happen is the average investor that hasn't paid attention to precious metals, he's the one that's going to foot the bill for our evil monetary system. I'm trying to protect myself and do well, but at the same time, the reason the book was written was to try to protect the average person. And so anybody out there, if you've got a copy of the book, and you're done with it, give it to a friend. If you've got friends and relatives, send them the GGSR link where the 2 free chapters are, and there's a 3rd chapter on there right now that we haven't taken down yet, that we put up just to back up a video that Alan and I were making. So yeah, pass it on, basically. We're trying. This could be bad, and I've said many times, I don't want to see the wealthiest people in the world end up with all the cookies. Hi, this is just a quick reminder. We're offering you free silver at GoldSilver.com as a thank you for choosing us as your dealer. Just click the link below for details.